Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us on another session of Risky Business 2022. Only a few more sessions left in the day, but they're going to be some good sessions. This session is with Carlsberg on how Carlsberg engaged their non-SAP security teams to mature security across the SAP landscape. My name is Andrew Morris. I'm the UK Practice Director for Application and Cybersecurity for Turnkey. I'm joined by Lukasz from Carlsberg. Lukasz, would you like to introduce yourself quickly, please?
Hello, everyone. My name is Lukasz. I'm working in Carlsberg in a group security as a SAP security architect. 15 years overall experience with multinational corporates within SAP area. In Carlsberg, I'm since 3 years.
Excellent, thank you. So the main things we're going to be covering today is going to cover a few topics, but for many SAP teams, the challenge is trying to secure SAP by yourself, from a pure application level. So understanding why engagement with non-SAP teams is critical for ensuring the cybersecurity of your SAP systems, some of the methods of doing so, what's effective, and some of the other elements that Carlsberg have been exploring over this time. There will be time, hopefully, for questions and answers at the end. So if you do have any questions throughout, please pop them in the chat and we will get to them at the end. Apart from that, Lukasz, over to you.
Thank you very much, Andrew. And yeah, just referring to what you said about the challenges, I would say it was not a different challenge at Carlsberg to be part of the broader cybersecurity when securing the SAP. But yeah, this is the journey, and this is what we are trying to do in our best. So today's presentation, I would like to start with the definition of the cybersecurity, and I like especially the one that you see on the screen, taken from Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Agency in US. And what I like about this definition is that it is describing cybersecurity as the art. And what the author means, the art, is that basically there is no one universal way to work with cybersecurity, to implement the cybersecurity. And this is the art on how do you implement cybersecurity. So in regards to the definition, practice of ensuring confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information. It sounds quite simple. So in terms of the confidentiality, it is to make sure that the data is protected from unauthorized view. In terms of the integrity, it is to make sure that data is protected from unauthorized change. And the last triad of the cybersecurity, availability. So we want to make sure that the user have access to the systems and the resources that they need. So definition and description of the cybersecurity art is quite simple, but what I want to show you is this snapshot of the cybersecurity certificates that you can find the link in the presentation, so you can browse later on, that you can go into the specific certification to find the details. But what I want to show here is the cybersecurity, and I think this is exactly reflecting the definition, that this is the art. This is the art to combine all these skills, all these technical skills, to make the organization protected. I think, if I'm not wrong, on this page there is over, it is not the entire list, but there is over 400 different certificates in cybersecurity space. So what about SAP cybersecurity? Is it different from cybersecurity in its traditional understanding? I personally do think that there is no difference. We still, when doing any SAP cybersecurity activity, we still want to focus on protecting the data to make it confidential, integral, and available for our users. This picture, I think it is very well known to the people that are working in SAP industry in area of security of SAP. However, most likely for the folks from outside SAP space, this is not really well known. However, the previous categories in the top of the page of the cybersecurity certificates is really similar to these 5 layers and the subjects within those layers. So how we can bridge the gap between SAP security and cybersecurity is that I would take a few examples of these subjects. The first one about the awareness. So in many organizations now, we do run phishing simulations. And how we can extend this phishing simulation to cover the SAP cybersecurity area is that we can have the target phishing simulations that contain the data from SAP, so that more SAP users will be aware of the cybersecurity. The other one is about the security hardening. It is nothing else than hardening the application layer, the same as we are doing in cybersecurity space in the area of server or operation system hardening. The other one is security monitoring and forensics. It's as well the possibility to have the activities that are done in the systems to monitor that and also to act when we feel it is necessary. So what are the common areas of the cybersecurity and SAP cybersecurity? I think in both cases, what I see by talking to the group security at Carlsberg is that if you want to do this art of the cybersecurity in the right way, you need to take the holistic approach. Very often in SAP space, security tends to be only focusing on access management on the privileged accounts. But the sub-secure operations map that I was showing before, showing a lot of other areas that if you want to make sure your application layer is secured, you have to address all these subjects. So going back to the main point on how Carlsberg engage non-SAP security teams in its journey to a secure SAP landscape, I would say it's about bringing people together, and this is what I was doing, how I was engaging the non-SAP departments, and I would say I'm still engaging because it is not like a one-time exercise; it is an ongoing conversation. But the question is on how these empty chairs on the screen can be fit with the people that are coming from different backgrounds, and how we are tackling cybersecurity, not only from infrastructure perspective, but also from application perspective, especially from applications like ERP. So not only SAP, but also other providers on how we do secure application layer. I want to share with you which departments I have engaged in the journey within group security. So as you can see, it is a majority of the areas that you could also see in the top of the page where I was talking about the certificates. So in my journey, I was talking to our architects that sits in a regional office of Carlsberg. I was talking about the strategy. I was talking about what do they do in their regions to promote security as a design, and also how much they are involved into the application security, just to understand where we are in that space. I was also talking to, and I'm still talking to risk management in terms of awareness, on the program of awareness, in terms of the governance, risk and compliance, in terms of the controls and data privacy. In terms of the application, we want to, in the holistic approach to SAP security, we want to make sure that the application is secured during its development. So the question is how we can make advantage of the group level software development lifecycle policies and the processes, and how we can embed that into the sub-security journey. And the same goes with operations. All the global programs in terms of the access management, vulnerability management, how we can talk to each other in order to not work in the silo, but to work together towards the common goals. In terms of the stakeholders that are part of the sub-security journey, the first group, the top executives, I think it's crucial in targeting the SAP security, addressing the risks that sits within this area. The reason of that is that SAP security is not like a security project for the sake of security. It is the project where we want to protect the business. Also, in terms of the second group, where we have a steering committee, that the members of the steering committee are within different backgrounds, that gives us the possibility to have a conversation on different areas. The same goes to internal audit and internal control functions, where we want to promote the SAP security activities in order to be more proactive in terms of the internal audit, as well to measure the controls that then internal control will measure on. And of course, the last and not least, the group is the operators of the systems, in terms of the owners, administrators, and developers, where we are having ongoing discussion on how we can apply the standards in security in their daily work, and also to explain that this is not to make their work more like complex. It is actually to make their work easier. So we know the stakeholders that we have engaged during the sub-security journey. I want to share with you the areas that helped me in that journey. In terms of I think it is one of the most important point is the visibility. So just that when you are going through the journey of sub-security, that you are transparent on what do you do, what do you want to achieve, and how you are helping the business and which risk do you address doing that. The tools that I was using to be transparent and visible is the corporate tool SharePoint, where I was keeping organization updated about the process, about the next plans, about the status, and where I was also able to share the success stories. And in order to make this visibility on the SharePoint ongoing and alive, we are targeting to have the communication on our intranet to promote our work, what we have delivered, and how it can impact the different functions within the organization. And I think what is as important as visibility is that you are consistent with running it, not only as a one-time exercise, but doing that in a constant basis during your project. So just sharing quickly our journey, what we have done in SAP security. This slide looks a little bit like different project phases. The only difference that the most important difference that I'm always explaining is that SAP security is not a project, it is journey, which means that it has a start date, but it will not have the end date. It will be cycles of the different activities, but you always have to go back, see what you have done, and how you can address the remaining issues. But what I think is very important and crucial in a start of the project is that I could hear that in many previous sessions today and yesterday, that it is that at the same time when you secure the budget for the project, you need to also secure the resources so that you can operate the capabilities that you are deploying in a good manner. What we have done after securing the budget and the resources at Carlsberg is that we have started with evaluation of the secure operations map provided by SAP, where we had an assessment on 5 layers and all these subjects within the layers, and we had the interviews with the people that are operating these different layers, and it gave us the good understanding, the overall picture, without technical validation, the picture on how we are, where the process works, where the process does not exist, where do we need to invest into technology, where do we have to invest into resources. So after having the assessment, it was a base to plan the first phase of the journey, where the multiple work streams has been defined in order to address the areas that the result of assessment was scored low in a lower end. The same importance as assessing planning is how you will execute what you have planned. So I think very often we tend to change the direction. So it's important to have a clear target, define objectives, and also define the operating model that you will apply once you deploy the technical capabilities. So it's again going into the comments that I could hear within the last 2 days about that technology is not the enabler, but you need to have at the same time process that will define how you will execute this technology. As well, you need to have the people who will operate it in line with the process. And the last point is the review. So once you are done with the one phase, you need to again go to the assess phase. You need to check what are the gaps and how we can address, and basically start the journey again. This information I took from one of the report that Turnkey has published in 2021, and I like this particular question that has been asked to SAP customers. From what I remember, it has been based on over 100 answers received from different companies. And as you can see, in the outcome is that SAP customers believe that their applications are secure. And I think this is what was the challenge when to engage with others in Carlsberg, is that why do you focus on application that sits within our internal network? It is already secured by the rules in the network and by the other layers. But what I was always trying to explain, that what are you doing in case we have the breach of the network? How do you address the activities within the internal environment, and how do you monitor if someone is within your environment? So the journey of the SAP security at Carlsberg started because I wanna change the perception, and I don't want to believe, but I want to be more trustful of the sub-security posture by starting the art of the cybersecurity for SAP. This is, I think, all what I have prepared for today. I will now go to the questions, if there are any in the Q&A. If you, Andrew, can help me to have a look.
Absolutely. We have had a few questions submitted. There was one in chat. Will this presentation be shared? Yes, recordings of all these sessions have been made, or are being made, I should say, and they'll be shared to all anybody who registered over the coming week or so. In terms of other questions, I just before we do that as well, those last points you mentioned around it's secure because it's on our network. You know, I've certainly been hearing that for nearly 20 years now. As we explored yesterday, insider threat is a big thing, has been, and it continues to be. Just because something has been doesn't mean it's the right person using it, doesn't mean they haven't been compromised, or doesn't mean they're just straight up malicious. So, yeah, entirely on it's on our network, it's safe. In this day and age of zero trust, it's not a particularly strong stance often. So, yeah, thank you for highlighting that one. You mentioned you had 4 engagement areas and channels there. How important was it to keep the communication
I'm not sure if I heard the question correctly, because I have some technical issues with hearing, but you asked about how important is the communication in terms of the securing the SAP?
Correct.
All right. So I think the communication is fundamental, because you want to communicate outside to what you're doing, because this is the only way on how you can receive the feedback, on also how you can start the conversation, and how you can share the challenges and hear the challenges of the others. So I think this is the fundamental area where it can drive you towards the collaboration with other teams. And I think the communication in that sense, because in what I experienced in my previous work as well at Carlsberg, that SAP environment talked in a very much SAP language, which, and this is what I was trying to show today within the first few slides, that basically we are talking and using the different words to talk about the same subject. So in that sense, I really find the communication, clear communication in a understandable language, very important as a success factors of the cybersecurity strategy.
Excellent, thank you. There was also with so many stakeholders, there was at least 7 or 8 on there in key areas, multiple different topics. Each of those would have had their own agendas, their different, I guess, objectives. How were you able to track the engagement of your stakeholders? How much they were involved? Were they getting it? Were they doing things? Was that a challenge for you?
Well, definitely, because the measuring of the engagement can be like not easy task. What I was trying to actually measure was the traffic on the SharePoint site that I was sharing with different stakeholders, where I can see the unique viewers and what pages they are visiting, which means where I can track which particular subjects they are interested in. And also, so that was, I was trying to do that from like a technical point of view, but I think in that sense it didn't really work, because in my opinion the engagement level, how we can measure, is that basically more like a subjective measurement, where you see that the people from the group security are engaging with you in terms of the subjects that they are see on their side, and that they are starting to think about SAP areas as well. But I don't have any specific measurement method that was successful and it works well. Answering your question short.
Oh, thank you. We've had one more question dropped into the chat. What was the biggest challenge that you faced during this journey, which was unseen, which you didn't expect?
I think the biggest challenge was the organization, like a setup, as Carlsberg is an organization driven mainly by merchant acquisition. Then you can see that the landscape of our ERP system is not the most standardized landscape, which means that the challenge was to make the processes and engage the people on a global level rather than the market specifics. So this is what I thought would be slightly easier, but definitely that was a challenge within the journey.
Yeah. No, that's a challenge faced by many different organizations. Many will have different ERP systems, different applications managed by different teams around the globe, and getting them standard is sometimes half the battle, never mind enhancing the security of them. So yeah, that's probably a challenge felt by many of the people watching this. We've got one last question, and I have to ask this one because I used to work in the alcohol industry as well. Does being in the beer industry help to engage with your stakeholders?
Well, I think that this question does not require answer. Obviously, yes.
Excellent. We are out of time. If people do have any further questions after this, feel free to reach out to us or Lucas, and we'll get we'll get an answer back to you where we can. But thank you very much for your time today, presenting that. It was greatly appreciated and very insightful. We do have 2 more sessions. I'll be back in 15 minutes with Punit from BP, continuing the same discussion around SAP. How integrating many different teams together. What can some of those actual real life integrations look like once to manage security and compliance? And then there's one final session in just about an hour's time, navigating risks around your journeys on SAP S4. So still plenty to tune in for. Stay tuned. Lucas, thanks once again for your time presenting this.
Thank you.
It's been
for having me.
Interesting.